So welcome. I am Arion, and I will be your hostess or host for this session. And we're calling it Embodied Business Plan. And what that means is we're looking at the foundations, the structures of your wisdom business, yeah, and how you can strengthen them so that you can move more energy through them and create a bigger business. Basically, what you'll find where I and we are passionate about here at the Embodied Business Institute is business acceleration the embodied way. And what that means is growing your business. Yeah. So more clients, more money, more impact, those things that we expect from business training, but also doing that in a way that is really juicy and embodied. Yeah. And that has two major benefits. One is that it's more fun. Yeah, it's not about just having a structure and then making that happen, like led by the mind. It's actually about tapping the living current of your own passion, your own love, your own devotion, and then creating from there. And the second benefit is that it really transforms your relationship with all things business. Yeah, a lot of people I work with, and maybe some of you are like this, is that you love what, in fact, put your hands up. This is a universal Zoom term. Please put your videos on if they're not already. This is a universal Zoom term, which means, I hear you, I see you, or yes, whatever, and allows the screen to light up with your hands. So who here is really good at what you do? Just that when you're with the people, you're brilliant at what you do. Great. I figured that was the case. And so that then when it comes to doing business, the business side of it, is it also true that you're less interested in that than you are in doing the work? Is that you? Like that the business side is, yep, okay, good. Because they're the people I serve. So basically people who have got an incredible devotion to their art, whether that's a coach, therapist, facilitator, or content creator, or anyone who's got a message and wisdom they want to bring into the world, but they want to do it in a way that is really true to themselves and their own authenticity, and that often find that a lot of business practices are like package yourself up, brand yourself, get yourself out there, follow these 5-step formulas, post on social media every day, and before long that living passion for what you do feels like it gets caged, and then you go and chuck it away and don't necessarily grow your business the way you want to. Is that making sense? Am I talking to the right people? Yes, great. So what we want to learn to do is to grow our business, to accelerate our business from an embodied place. That's all that we do. We have a program which I'll be talking about through today, which is called The Village, which is an ongoing accelerator program to really help you grow your business in the embodied way. And that the mandala that we're looking at today, which is the foundation of the business plan, is the structure that we use to help people accelerate their business. But I'll share just my story briefly, just to land us in as how I've come to be doing embodied business, because it's a bit of a funny, wild old tale. um, your faces. Oh, and just while you're listening, just chuck in the chat what your business is and where you're from. Yeah, I'd love to just hear what your business is and where you're from. Okay, so it's very funny that I'm a business coach these days, because really my devotion is love. Yeah, that I'm going to give a short version of my story now, because we're here to grow our businesses, not, to hear wild tales of death and life and rebirth. But the short version of the story is that I was been in personal development for years, running lots of programs, thought I had it sort of spiritually worked out. And then 15 years ago, my wife got diagnosed with terminal cancer, 1.5-year-old boy. And the lovely little bubble of, what I thought I'd worked out came crashing down really quickly. And I was, quit my work and devoted my time to caring for my little boy and for my sick wife. And what I found was that all my lovely spiritual personal development practices basically just fell short in such a time of crisis. I was angry and shut down and hurt, and then guilty for being angry and shut down and hurt. And so for about 6 months, we went through treatments, and I became just like a robot. Yeah, I was doing all the things, driving into appointments, taking care of my boy, but inside I was, dead. And after about 6 months of that, I really remember breaking. There was a night, it was a long story, but the short story is that one night I just broke. I couldn't do it anymore. I was crying. I felt like an utter failure as a man. And this incredible thing happened. If there's anything that's a miracle in this life, it would have been that for me, which is there was this sense of love just found me shattered on the floor, feeling like a failure and like I was failing being a dad, failing being a husband, failing being a spiritual man, all the different ideas of who I was meant to be. I was failing them all. And I just felt utterly bereft. And I remember just, even though it's years ago and I've told the story many times, each time I tell it, it's like as soon as I tell it, my body starts tingling. This love rose and it feels like it sort of came and held me and rocked me and just said, I love you. Not necessarily in words. It wasn't like Deepak Chopra arrived in an angel suit and was going, woo. It was a presence, yeah, a sense of something greater than me, a love that was there. And it held me. And I sort of shared with it, or I let it see how guilty I felt and how angry I felt and how hurt I felt and betrayed by life. And it just held me and loved me and just, feels like it said without words, I've got you, I forgive you. And I feel like I tried to argue with the love for a while, but if you ever tried to argue with unconditional love, it's not easy because it just keeps saying, and I love you. And so what happened over a series of a few days and then weeks was this love would hold me each night. I would cry, I would open and crack. And this new seed of something started to emerge in me. And I felt new life coming back into my body. And then the biggest part of this whole story for me is that the miracle of it is that then I noticed that it wasn't just in me, it was actually flowing through me into my wife, that into my boy. It was like this love that I'd found was a living current in my own body. And it was caring for my wife, caring for my son, caring for me in a way that I had been unable to. And so in the last 3 or 4 months of her life, this love erupted. And the miracle is she found it too. She called it the love that cannot die. And the last months of our life were spent cracking in grief and then getting closer and closer to this love that's at the center of who we are. And actually the morning she passed, the kookaburras literally set off their first call, and then she took her last breath in my arms. And the depth of love that was present in the worst moment of my life was inconceivable to my sort of vision board self, who's like, okay, I've got this vision I want to create, I'm going to strive for my dreams, that's what life is about. And yet here I was in the worst moment of my life with something I would never ever want to happen. And at that same moment, I was opening to love and closer to the truth and the beauty of life than I'd ever been. And I remember after she passed, this really deep sense of, I'm here to serve that love. Whatever you are, wherever, you take me, I'm here to serve you. And so I have, and I did. And it's led me down the embodiment path, because connecting to the love just in the heart is one thing, but to really awaken the love through every cell in the body has been my journey. And I created the Warriors of Love program, which we ran retreats. We had 40 people. It's an ongoing year by year program, and basically train people to grow, awaken love in their own body, then bring it out into action. So I ran that for many years. And in that program, as well as other people I was coaching, people had businesses and I helped them grow their businesses, help people make millions of dollars, make a big impact, all of those things, but never considered myself a business coach, because for me, I was just about love. But then this beautiful shift happened when more and more people who'd awoken to love were like, I want to make an impact in the world. And it became really clear that business is a vehicle for that love. Yeah. In the way I teach it, if you've drawn to me, in fact, just put your hands up if for you business is a vehicle for love. Just let me check I've got the right people here. Please put your cameras on if you can. I'd love to see you. Great. Yeah. And I don't just mean love in like the fluffy sense of I love you or like I love chocolate cake, but I mean a fire. Yeah, a passion that can be awoken inside us and move us into action on what matters most and serve those we're here to serve. And so as I realized that love, is creating these businesses so we can bring our love into the world, I was like, oh my God, I want to help these people more clearly, because I've been helping build strategies. I developed my own 6-figure business over many years. And so it became really clear that there was a whole lot of people, yeah, as I touched on before, who had this incredible devotional love in them, this incredible wisdom to share. But traditional business practices were like, they didn't work. They didn't feel right for people who wanted to create their business in that way. And so I began to share with people how I'd grown my business through the embodied warrior work, what we call the living current, or your own essence brought alive through your body and then into action. And it just became clearer and clearer that this was an incredible way for people to grow their businesses, and have then the last years I've been devoted fully to working with people in business to master their own self, and then master understanding who their people are and how to create content, and then how to bring that to the world and grow their impact and their income. So that's the short version of what's led me to be here with you today, to really go into the embodied business plan. Yeah. Does that all make sense? Just give hands if that's making sense. You're in the right place. Good stuff. Yeah, please put your video cameras on. I want to see as many of your gorgeous faces as we can. One of the great things about today is that it's interactive. So I'm going to give you a real juicy slab of content to start, so you can get a sense of the lens with which I view how to accelerate your business. And then I'm going to work with you. So you're going to bring questions, we're going to talk, and it's basically like a group coaching session, so that, because this is live. Yeah, I could record something and send it to you, and I've done that, and we've got, if any of the things we touch on you want more info on, reach out to us. But I love working with live people, you beautiful faces here on the screen, wherever you are around the world, so that we can, turn the dial in your business to get it more to where you'd love it to be, because it's your love, and I want more love in the world. Okay. So business acceleration, yeah, there's at the absolute heart of how I help people, and Sue and I help people grow their business, is we accelerate the business growth process. Now, we don't just do that in the sort of more masculine or mental way, which is just get a vision, take action, go for it. We do it in what I call a more whole-bodied way, which is about really finding who you are and your living current of your passion, and how to wake that up through your body, because that then becomes a living current that moves you into a different way to relate to your business, which is what we're going to explore today. So you can put up the business acceleration tile now, Sue, because I want to share that there's three things. And when I talk about the village later, these are the three things that the village is founded on, which is our business accelerator program. Because these are the three things that, if you get these three right, you can really accelerate your business. So your state, which I'll cover more about in a bit, because it's the first element of the business plan. Well, that's being able to create your own experience. Second is strategy, knowing what action to take and when. And the third is support, which is having the right community of mentors and peers around you to accelerate the process. So if you get those three rocking, yeah, so if you've mastered your own state, if you've got really the best strategy to grow right now, and you've got the right community of mentors and peers, then this acceleration thing can happen. Yeah. And I'm watching that all the time with the people we work with. It's like, just recently, there's a guy who only joined our village 7 weeks ago, had 3 clients, and had 3 clients for, I think, a year or two, hadn't been able to get past 3 clients, joined the program 7 weeks in, he's got 13 clients a week. And he's saying, I'm only just starting to apply the strategy work, because what's happening is he's getting the state going, he's choosing just one strategy and applying that, and incredible results are happening quickly. Yeah. And so they're the 3 things we're hopefully going to give you today in this session, help you access your state more powerfully, help you understand what strategy to use next, and then hopefully give you some good support to get going. Great. You can take that down now, Sue. Thank you. So take a breath. Just take a little stretch. Yeah. Just feel your body, because I'm about to give you a really juicy piece of content, and I want you really fiercely present for it, because basically what we're going to do is, it's like we're going to view your business through this lens, through what I call the business mandala. And what this means is we're going to look at 8 different components of your wisdom business. And it's like when you put them on, like they're like these, this is what I used to do when I was a circus clown, having the goggles. So we're putting on the business mandala goggles to look at our business and see what it shows us. Yeah, and see which of the structures are solid, which are not, and where we can grow next. So my commitment is that by the end of this session, you've got a real sense of, there's the next stage for my business growth. Yeah, that's it. And it might be something you knew, sort of already, and you've just got more clarity, or it might be like, oh my God, I see it now. And there's your work. Okay, great. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through these 8 elements of the business mandala. It's going to take about 10 minutes, maybe longer. We'll see how clear I can get it. And then I'm going to basically just coach you guys on which of those elements you need help or transformation with, so that we've got that live interactive experience. And hopefully I can actually work with all of you in the time we've got. We'll see if that's possible. So as I go through them, I want you to score yourself, just for fun, I'm not taking it too seriously, but out of 10, how solid each of these elements are. Yeah. And then we'll do a little assessment process, so you can go, okay, this is what I've learned. This is how this to my business. And then I'll get in there and I'll get messy and get coaching with you around, your businesses. Okay, let me just have a look at what businesses we've got here, and I'll just read them out. So, Women's Transformation from Texas. Sorry, I should have said that with an accent. Natural Fertility and Women's Health. Yoga Therapist, Women's Trauma and Mental Health Recovery. Transformational Presentation Coaching. Great. I mean, people have got long things. We're not reading them all out, but yes. Love it. Good, juicy stuff. All of them are in the right place, because basically my job is to help you get your wisdom, wake it up and get it out into the world so it makes bigger impact and bigger income. So that's what we'll be doing. Okay, so you can bring up the business mandala now. Little drum roll. This is born from 20 years of working with businesses to make it as simple as possible to grow your business. Yeah. Okay, so we have 4 elements: fire, earth, water, and air. And we're going to move through each one of those elements with 2 in it and assess your business. So I'm going to share what each one is briefly, and so you can put the tiles up as I share each one just for a minute. And that I want you to be really listening for is, I'm going to be talking about what this one is when it's sort of weak or undeveloped, what it is when it's strong. And basically we're looking at a range of 0 to 10. 10 being, oh my God, this area is fully humming. 1 being like, oh my God, I haven't touched that at all. And the other juicy thing to work with here is that each one of these is sequential. And so what I mean by that is that if one of them is out, it will impact your ability to do the next one in the sequence. And so I get a lot of people who come to me for sales and marketing. I want to expand my business. I want more people. But often the first work we do is we've got to go in the bottom 4, which is what I call below ground. Yeah. So this is you getting yourself, your understanding of your people, your magic, and the content you create, getting all of that alive and passionate and full, so that then you can take it to the world, and that makes marketing and sales epically easier, as I hope I'll share with you today. Okay, number 1, state. Okay, so just stand up, just have a little stretch. Yeah, just move that body a little bit. I could go on forever about the potency of your state. Yeah, because it changes everything. Yeah, I had a client who came to me. I'll do the short version of the story. Successful in business, had, been getting multi six figures in his business, had shrunk down to under like 50K or something, didn't know why, and came to me specifically for marketing strategies. He's heard that I'd help people increase the numbers of people in their programs, so he'd come to me for that. But quite quickly, it was really obvious that what was really out for him was his state was depleted. He was exhausted from some things that had happened. And I said, I don't want to work on any of the other realms, any of the other 8, the other 7 with you. I just want to work on transforming your state. And I believe, because you've already got this incredible business skill, if we can just transform your state, I guarantee you, is what I said to him, that your whole business will transform. And so we were a few weeks in, and he was like, I'm feeling a bit better, but nothing's changing. Come on, can we do strategy now? And I'm like, no, stay. That you are an incredibly powerful creator, but your core being is so depleted that you can't. You're creating a relationship with the business from that place of depletion. So we did 3 more weeks of activating, transforming his state, refueling his core state, which shapes his perceptions of how he sees his business. And within 2 months, he'd done his biggest month of sales he'd ever done in 15 or 20 years of his business. Yeah, because he got his state right, and then he had the other ones in place so that then that state could flow through the other 7 we're going to explore into epically greater results. So anytime someone comes to me for coaching, it's like, is it a state or a strategy issue? Yeah. And if it's a state issue, we work on that first, because when we shift our state, it changes our perception of how we see things, which changes the possibilities that we see, which then changes the actions we take, which changes the results we get. So let's just do a 1-minute state practice. So just close your eyes, put your hand on your heart. And I just want you to feel your love for what you do. Yeah. In fact, remember a time when you were working with your clients in a way that was like spot on. Yeah, what you were saying was gold coming out of your mouth, or how they were responding was like, yes. And there was this synergy between you and your person or a group. And it was like, oh my God, I'm born for this. And they were like, I can't believe I found you. Yeah, you know that experience. So just, I want you to remember that and just breathe into that. We have a whole system, which we call the Warrior Engine, for learning how to master our state, that we've helped tens of thousands of people use. I'm not going into all of that now, but I just want you to just for a minute, just breathe and feel that experience you had with that client or those clients. And feel your body. Yeah. Feel how you felt when you did that. Yeah. How are you breathing? How are you moving? What emotions were present? What thoughts were present? Yeah, there's a whole state connected to that moment you had with the client. I just want you to breathe. Breathe. I want you to breathe. I can't talk properly. I want you to breathe and really feel that living current of state that was present in that moment. And just say yes to it, and just for another 30 seconds, just see if you can increase its feeling through the body. Yeah, like I said, we do whole work around how to activate this through the physical body, through the emotions, through the thoughts, and then how to create perceptions to create reality. Just take a breath with it and feel that. Because if you cannot master your own state, it will undermine everything else in your business. Yeah. If you can master your state, it will give you endless fuel to work with every other stage of the business. So give yourself a score out of 10 for how well you have mastered your state in your life. Yeah. So 1 obviously is that you're a victim. Life circumstances are continually coming at you, and you're sort of struggling to get your head above water. A 10, oh, you are the creator. You are Gandalf on the, I don't know if I should use movie references in case you don't get them, but there's a moment where Gandalf in the Lord of the Rings movie is standing on a bridge and he says, "Thou shalt not pass," and he saves them all and, defeats a demon. That's the short version. Anyway, that for me, that's the power of being so aligned in your own being. Yeah. That you can, when your demons of your own past, your own history come at you, or, your relatives or whoever it is, life, those annoying customers, they come at you. Yes, I love that scene too. When they come at you, you don't lose your state to them. Yeah. So that's effectively the simple way is, does my environment create my state, or do I create my state and then create my environment from there? Yeah. So give yourself a score out of 10 and chuck it in the chat box. Great. You can take that one down now, Sue. Okay, so let's, I won't get you to call out words. Just, we'll move on to the next one because I want to get into as much coaching as we can. Okay. So number 2 is what we call your magic. And your magic is your unique gifts that you have to bring to the world. Yeah. That your magic is what helps you go from selling a modality, so saying, I do a massage therapist, I'm a massage therapist, to I am, something greater. In fact, I can share, Gary, can I share about your amazing work? I haven't had a session with you for years, but I know Dr. Gary from years ago, and I came 20 years ago, and I came for a massage. And then as I'm getting a massage, he starts reciting poetry and whispering this whole different way to work with my body. And I can still remember it 20 years ago, yeah, because he was bringing his magic in, not just going, I'm a massage therapist, this is my modality. So thank you for that, Gary, for your profound gift.
Bless you.
And that's what I help everyone do, is find their magic, embody it so it's a living current in them, and then how to express that so that whatever you're creating, even if you're a yoga teacher or if you're a massage therapist or if you're a counselor, that the core thing that you're sharing about and selling isn't the modality, it's the message that's behind it. And that when you find your core message and you wake that up through your body, what happens is it infuses all the next elements again. So if you can master your state and then really know what your unique magic is, then you're on the way. Yeah, you're on the way to being able to build a wisdom business that can be magnetic and can truly thrive. Too many people are out there trying to just sell their modality. Oh, I'm a counselor. They just put up a thing and say I'm a counselor, which is great. You'll find people who want a counselor if they know it. If you're an art therapist, it's even harder because less people know what one of them is. So basically, the less known your modality is, the harder it is to sell off the back of your modality because no one's looking for it. If you're a massage therapist, you can just put up a shingle and say massage therapist, and you'll get people coming to you. But you won't necessarily get your people. Yeah, because what I'm passionate about in a good wisdom business is this synergy between your magic and your client's needs and heart. And if you get that right, then the people who come to you are people who are really called to your unique frequency and your unique magic, so that it becomes that, like we just felt before with that client, in that example I gave you, it becomes something more than just an exchange of skills. It becomes this synergy between what they most need and what you're built to give. Does that make sense? Just give us some hands if that's making sense. Great. Because finding your magic is one of the things I love about my work. Yeah, helping people really go in, find it as an embodied current, and then how to wake it up and craft it into a message, and then how to shape it into what we call treasure, which I'll get to soon. So, how do you find your magic? Well, of course, it's an ongoing journey. Some of you will know it well. Some of you will still be exploring it. But I'll give you a simple way to do it. So that same vision that you were just in before, drop in, close your eyes, and feel yourself with that client again. Yeah, or those group of people. Take a breath and feel how amazing it was to be in that flow with your person. And now what I want you to do is I want you to feel what is alive in me in that moment. Yeah. And for fun, although your magic, I think, is something beyond words, but just for fun, we'll see if we can find a word to describe what that is. Yeah, you can take the slide down now. So, because I'm going to ask you guys, for a few of you, to call that out. So it's like, at the core, what is, if you would find a word to describe the current of life that's moving through you in that moment with your client. It might be joy, it might be creativity, it might be awakening, liberation, activation, love. Yeah, whatever it is, this is your magic. So I just want to take yourself off mute, and a few of you, I just want to invite you to share what it is. Just share the word. Just call it out.
Yes.
Yes, your magic is yes. I love it. Beautiful. Yeah, who doesn't want more yes in their life? Great. Someone else.
Life force.
Life force. Yay. Good. We're yes and life force. Everyone take a breath. As someone shares it in, I want you to just take a breath and receive their magic. It's what's great about a live call. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Life force. Great. Who else?
Mine's profound insight.
Profound insight. Take a breath of that in. Oh, I can hear the angels singing. Oh, great. Someone else.
I'll go next. Activation of holistic healing.
Yep. Great. So
healing presence.
And what would you, if you were to feel that in your body as a living current in your body, what do you feel when that's moving through you? Is that activation? Do you feel activated?
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful. So activation is at the core, yeah, and then the cause is healing and all those things. But the reason knowing this is so powerful is when you can tap this magic, it becomes your living life coach. It becomes that which guides you through the whole rest of the stage of your business. Like if you get nothing else from this session, and hopefully you get lots more, but if you get nothing else, is learn to tap and embody this current of your magic, because it is a genius. Yeah, it has a unique flow of life force, a unique transmission, if you will, that only you can bring forth. Yeah, that you are the only person on the planet with this unique series of pains and hurts and betrayals, initiations and wisdom and growth. And so if you find that magic and commit to that magic, then what happens is the next phases of your wisdom business, competition disappears. Yeah, it's not about, okay, there's a crowded marketplace, I've got to try and stand out. It's like, oh my God, this is what I'm born to do. I've got to share it. Yeah. So I want you to give yourself a score out of 10 for how alive is your magic. Yeah. So obviously 1 is that you don't really know who you are. You don't know what your message is. And you may be trying, just sell someone else's modality, but you don't even fully believe in it. A 10 is that you are, you are in that magic every day. It moves you and inspires you, and it's how you see yourself, and then you shape your work from that. So give yourself a score for that.
Is it also whether we're communicating that at the moment or not, or we're not at that point yet?
Not yet. We'll get to that further around. It's really about how well you know it, and how well you can, communicate in terms of create content from there or write from it. But no, we're going to learn how to communicate your magic at the next steps. Okay, cool. This is just how fully you know it. Yeah. Because if you get those first 2, right, this is great. We've got lots of high scores here. So if you get those first 2 right, we've got the engine room to grow an epic wisdom business. Yeah. That these are the 2 that are hardest to work with. If someone doesn't have mastered their state and doesn't know their magic, and they just come in going, I want a strategy to get more clients. I'm like, what's your magic? I don't care about it. I just want more clients. It's like, I don't want to work with you, because I don't just want you to get more clients. I want you to become a living transmission of your own love, your own, whatever we're going to call that. Okay, great. 8, 9, 7, 8. 7, 8, 7s. Whoa, we're a rocking great group of magic.
Sorry, Arian.
Yeah.
Is the label really important? Because I'm getting myself all confused. I help people overcome their fears of the dentist. I work with dental anxiety and phobia. So for me, it's about the healing presence where something becomes activated and the patient's able to overcome their fear. They become transformed and the quantum shift happens for them. But I don't really know the one word. I mean, I don't want it to be too airy-fairy. Is it a word just for me, or?
Yeah, great question. And it's a question I've probably answered 100, 200 times or something. So it's great that you bring it up. I often remember to say it beforehand. So it is just for you at the moment. Yeah, this is not your front facing of your brand. Some people will actually build their brand around that word. Yeah, I ran the activation school for years when my magic was activation. So some people will, if you're sort of, that's congruent. Another woman I know, her magic is courage, and she runs a whole, trainings on courage. So some people will use that word in their brand, but it's not at all necessary. It's about you knowing that and embodying that. And the word doesn't matter. Yeah, it's about the living current of it. And finding a word is like a doorway into it. So being able to use that word. Yeah, for mine now, I'd call it wild love. Yeah, is how I describe my magic, which is love unleashed from the shackles of ordinary life to becoming a living wild dragon inside me. That's my, magic. So you don't get too hooked up on a word. Again, the mind will always be trying to understand too much. And part of how we grow our business through all of these phases is learning to trust the living wisdom. And then later on, we'll get really clear with words. Okay, good. 7s, 8s, 8s, 9s, 6s, awesome. Sensual grace, beautiful. If anyone else wants to write what that your magic is in the chat box, I'd love that. 9, wow, we did this call last night, and those guys were way less connected to their magic. It's fascinating how different groups of people come. Maybe it's just being in the morning. Maybe if we did this, we took all of you and did a session at 7 p.m. in the evening, you would not know your magic as well. Who knows? Profound insight, playfulness, beautiful. So take a breath of your magic in. Gorgeous. Okay, so we're going to move to number 3 now. Make sure you're writing these down, because I'm going to use a bit of a reflection later. Okay, so number 3 is your people. And yeah, we'll see how much, when it comes time to doing questions, how much you want, to go deep with this, because it's a profound thing to really understand your people. Yeah, this is like, I'm not here to just serve humanity. This is about really understanding who are the unique people you're here to serve. The simplest way to understand that is the person you were a few years ago. It's not always true, but what we do here is when I first came across this idea of people and avatar and ideal customer, I didn't like it. It didn't resonate for me. It felt controlling, and I didn't want to, only create a business for 35-year-old to 45-year-old women who liked yoga and Deepak Chopra. Like, it just felt like nonsense to me. But I've learned to think of ideal customer and avatar as psychographic, which means really understanding their heart, their drives, what moves through them, what are they scared of, what are they yearning for. And when you really know that, it means that the content you create is resonant for those people, rather than sort of broad and not catered for the specific people you're here to serve. Because remember, as I mentioned before, getting your wisdom business right is getting the synergy between your magic and the deepest needs and wants of your people. If you get those two, the sweet spot between those two, then you will create incredible wisdom business. Otherwise, it's just about you, or if it's just about them. But if you get the synergy of the magic between them, then you can develop really beautiful, intimate, clear communication for your people, that when they see it, they're like, oh my God, this person's talking to me. So give yourself a score out of 10 for how well you know your people. Yeah. That, are you just still here to serve humanity? In which case I'd say that's a low score. Or do you really have a sense of, I know I'm here to serve these sorts of people? Yeah. And basically, as we're going through these, feel free to write down questions if you have about these. I'm going to go through them all so you get a bit of a map, and then we're just going to dance in the wild mystery of coaching. So great, we've got 6s. Okay, we're going down a little bit from our 8s, but we're still, let me bring the chat box up again. People, 6. Yep, 6, 6, 5, 7, 8, 5. Great. So we still know your people pretty well. That's great to hear. Okay, you can bring that down now, Sue. Again, one of the times when people come to me to grow their business, one of the first things I'm doing is really getting a sense of how well they know their magic and their people. If they haven't got them in place, basically it's all of them. Yeah. So if they haven't got their state in place, we need to work there. If you don't know your magic, we need to work there. If you don't know those two, do you know your people? If you've got those 3 sorted, which most of you do from the scores that you're giving, then we can move to the next bit. And this is the last bit of the below ground. Yeah. So when I work with someone, when we work with people in the village, we work on the below ground stuff first. It takes us between 2 weeks and 2 months, depending on how much work's needed to get that right. Because so much of the above ground stuff, challenges people have, is because they haven't got the below ground stuff solid and clear first. Okay, we ready to move into treasure? Yep, give us some hands. You ready? You ready for some treasure? This is a great section. Good. It's so, being all of us having no legs, being on Zoom is a bit weird. I ran live retreats for years. So I really appreciate the videos on, the hands on. It really allows me to be there with you. And it also activates and brings you more into presence. So you're not just listening from your mind on a screen, but we're participating on a full body level. So thank you. Okay, so drum roll, treasure. Yeah. Now, treasure is the miracle that you can create from your own experience, from your pains and betrayals, your initiations, your hurt, your messed up and fucked upness. Yeah. And also from your wisdom and from your trainings and from your own knowing and from your experience. And you can take all of that and create treasure for other people that makes an incredible difference in the world. Isn't that a miracle? Like, that's the whole Embodied Business Institute is based on the miracle of the transmission of knowledge from one to another, and learning how to do that in a way that has you on fire because it's what you're born to share, and it has your people going, oh my God, give me more. I love it. Yeah. So treasure is basically any type of content that you create. So it could simply be a post, yeah, that you create on your social media. It could be an email. It could be a brochure that you create, right through to what we call your signature program, which is really, you know, your core body of work that you're here to bring forth on the planet. And again, this is a synergy of the first three things that we've looked at. So you get in state, so you're connected to, you know, who you really are. Then you activate your magic, so you understand what your gifts truly are. Then you know your people. And if you've got those three alive, then the treasure you will create will be magnetic. It'll go from sort of vague and, oh, I hope this is good, to, I know my people, this is what you want, are you ready for it? And then when you share it, they're like, yes, I've been waiting for that. That's exactly the new insight I needed, or the new way of perceiving things, or whatever it is. And it could be very specific, like, you know, how to cut your toenails properly, if that's your thing, to something, you know, huge, like a year-long Warriors of Love training to radically transform the level of aliveness in your body and the level of action that you can take in the world from that love. Yeah. So it can be, and is, many layers of things. And as we explore above ground, a good wisdom business has a whole lot of treasure in it. Yeah, it's like a dragon's treasure hoard, but rather than holding on to it, you're like, hey, have some treasure. Yeah, imagine that, a dragon that's just flying around rather than breathing fire and, you know, killing people. It's going around sharing treasure. And that's what a wisdom business is, really, is it's taking your treasure and sharing it with the world. And then, as I'll talk about soon, building rivers of that to your people. Yep, from, you know, a little connection right through to coming to your cave and doing the deep work with you that you're here to bring forward. Okay, that making sense? Yep, great. Okay, so a 10 is that you're really good at creating the content, that you have a lot of that content already here, ready to go, and that you create it in a way that your people really love it. Yeah. So that, because some people, if you know your magic well, but you don't know your people, then you can create incredible material, but it won't resonate for your people and won't get the traction and attraction, because it's still much about your theories and what you're working out, rather than taking them and then feeling the people's hearts you're here to serve and packaging it up for them. Yeah. Okay. So give yourself a score out of 10. Yeah. And chuck it in the chat. 4, 6. 6, 5. Could broaden the scope of transmission. Great. 6. Great. Great. 9. Awesome. Nice to have a great body of work. One-on-one 10, group not yet. Awesome. Yay. So you guys are really ready for the above ground stuff, which is so good. Yeah. That basically, in general, from the scores I'm reading, what that means is, yes, there might be a bit of work to do with you underground, but the really juicy stuff is now taking that treasure to the world. So are we ready? You can drop that down now, Sue. Are we ready to take our treasure to the world? Give us some hands if you are. Take a breath. Just breathe in your magic again. Because this is the miracle moment. Heaven, yes, that's a response I like. Great. This transition is when you take out your work to the world. Now, a lot of you have been doing this for a long time, but that transition to sharing things is an incredibly miraculous thing. Yeah, we've all had that miracle when we say, hey, do you want to come and do this thing? And they say yes, and you offer them something and they love it. Yeah, you know how amazing that is, that feeling. That's what we're here to grow. We're here to build a business based on you in the living current of your genius, sharing it with the world. So we've got the below ground stuff sorted. Now it's time to take our treasure and offer it. And so the first skill that we need to learn is, drum roll, sales. And if you're like I was for years, that anytime someone said sales, I just had an image of like an advertising executive in an expensive suit trying to sell me something I don't need, with, Coke adverts of girls in bikinis trying to sell you sugar water, or, just a whole lot of associations with it. My dad also thought advertising people were evil, so that didn't help for my association with sales. So what that means is, if you've got an association like that with sales, and I'm sure most of you don't if you've made it this far in your business, but if you do, it basically means you haven't consciously created your relationship with sales. Yeah, and this is the same for marketing, is that I find so many people with really strong below ground material struggle with sales and marketing. And often there's a sense of like, it doesn't feel true for me. I don't want to have to sell myself. I don't want to have to tell everyone how amazing I am or post on Instagram 50 times a day. Or, I don't want to have to try and get more people or convince them. It just doesn't feel authentic. And so then they stay below ground, what I call the hermit, which is you're in a cave, you've got your gifts, but, the random stranger hiking up the hill finds you, but you're not really available to the world to share your gifts, which is fine if that's the stage of life you're in. But if you've come to this session, I'm guessing it's not. So what's required then, if that is you, is a whole redefinition of what sales and marketing are. And this is, I'm realizing the longer I'm working with business people, this is one of the key things I'm doing, is helping people radically fall in love with sales and marketing. Yeah, because the realization is I get to create it how I want it to be. Not, I have to live into this other person's expectation, or I have to do cold calls, or I have to be somehow untrue to myself, or I have to manipulate people or whatever. In the end, and here's another one of those single liners that is at the heart of what I do, is sales and marketing is simply communicating your value. Yeah, so it's the courage to speak. We were talking earlier about words. It's the courage to take that magic, all those things underground, and put them in words, spoken word, written word, whatever it is, so that other people can truthfully see the treasure that you have. Yeah, you don't need to hype yourself up. You don't need to say, 50 steak knives and, all of these things. And you just don't. Yeah. But what you do need to do is have a voice. Yeah. This is the realm of the voice, of expression. Yeah. And when people are struggling with sales and marketing, the first thing we do is we get working with their expression, their ability to communicate their own love for what they do. Because you don't need to sell anything. If you genuinely are in touch with your magic, if you genuinely know your people's hearts and you're genuinely created treasure, people want it. They're hungry for it. You've just got to get out and tell them about it. You can't bake lovely pies and then hang out and wonder why people aren't coming for them. You've got to get out and share the pies so people can have a taste and go, oh my God, that's yum. Then when they know it, they'll come back every week and they'll tell other people, and less is required. But the ability to communicate your value, so others can step in, is all sales and marketing is. Well, so that's what sales is, and then marketing is the ability to do that to more and more people. So obviously we have, stuff around money. Some people, maybe none of you here, of course, you're probably all a 10 out of 10 with money, but for those other people who've got money stories, either just grew up in poverty, or there's basically two main money stories that I get. One, which is they grew up in poverty. This is my one, and just had no idea about how much wealth was actually available to them. And so their whole state and physiology was conditioned to just never have money. And that can be changed. I'm living proof that can be changed. So we do our money work at this stage as well. But also it's the other sort of core pattern is that I've had money, I've been brought up by money, but the way that they got their money and the life they lived to create that money was not true for me. So I'm saying no to money because I'm saying no to the life that I saw it, created to be that focused on money. But both of them again mean, or a mix of both. Absolutely. So what that means is that you haven't consciously created your relationship with money and sales. That's all it means. And that you can. Yeah. And no matter how messed up your relationship with money and sales has been, you can create one where you absolutely love what you do. Yeah, that the fundamental principle of my sales and marketing is I just share epic value of stuff I love. I just share the treasure, and I trust, and it is my experience over many years, people will resonate with it and go, oh, cool, can I come and join in? No manipulation required, no hard sell required, just communicating my value clearly, and then the people that are called to it will come and step in. Make sense? Yep, great. Okay, so sales. Yeah, your ability to sell what you do so that other people say yes. Give yourself a score out of 10 and chuck it in the chat. I said this is going to take 10 minutes, not quite 10 minutes, but hopefully you're getting good juice. I'm spending longer on each section. Yeah. Okay, we've had our first 3. 9 for some, 4 for others. Okay. Yep. Chats. 6, 3, 8. Awesome. 4, 4, 3, 9, 5. Yep. 7 to 4. Great. So you can see that as we're moving around the wheel, we're starting to find this is where some good work. Yeah. If I was coaching you for 3 days now, I would stop and go, this is the first place we do some work. Let's unpack your money stuff. Let's transform it. Because basically the way I think of it is that wherever your first score under 5 is holding up the rest of the business. Yeah. I can work with anything 5 and above. You know, of course, if your state is at a 10, it's going to pour incredible amount of energy in if your magic is at a 10. But in terms of building a business, if there's any of those underground ones that are under a 5, I'll go there and I'll work with you to get them clear. If you've got them clear, then we move around until we've got them all humming at least at a 5 or higher. So great. So we'll move on for now, but make sure if you've got some questions around money things, I've done heaps of work around money transformation, whole programs. Like I grew up in horrific poverty, parents who were drug addicted. I was lending them my money, pocket money from like 12 or something. And, you know, not like I had a roof over my head, but it was rental property. The car would break down, like, you know, not third world poverty, but really intense lack of money through my whole childhood. There were those assholes who had money, and then there was us who didn't. You know, that was the sort of paradigm. And so I've had to transform that. Yeah, I've really had to work to transform a consciousness of wealth that allows me to own my own home and to create and take care of people I do. And all the things that I do with my money is a miracle to me because it wasn't a gift. It wasn't inherited. It was something I've had to transform patterns and things for in a way that my love, which many people acknowledge me for and say, wow, Ariel, your love is so strong. My parents loved me. That was an inheritance. I've grown it, but it was like they already gave it to me at a 6 out of 10. I've maybe grown it to a 7. But money, they gave it to me at a 2, and I've grown it to a 6. So that's one of the miracles of my life, and it's why I help a lot of people with their money stuff. Is because when it's time, you know, to transform your money, then there's work to be done, and if we don't do it, it gets in the way of everything else. Yeah, it really does. So many people have incredible gifts to share, but they don't know how to receive the amount of money that would come with sharing those gifts. So they stay in a poverty cycle. So please, if that's you, do your money work until you're able to really receive the full current of your own abundance, because it's getting in the way of you sharing your gifts. Okay, let's move on. Yes, there's a ceiling. It's true. Most people have some sort of ceiling there. Okay, and what I've found again with all of these is we're going back and retweaking them. Yeah, if you have a breakthrough and realize, oh my God, I want to impact more people in the world, then actually there's a new state that's required to do that. There's a new depth of understanding of your magic. You need to know your people more clearly. Yeah, so that it's not that you finish one and move on. It's that you're continually increasing the flow between these. Okay, now the big one, marketing. Okay, so marketing is really the ability, to link people up who don't know you, to know you, know, love, and trust you, and then come and buy your wares, what you're here to do. So it's very simply the pathway from someone who doesn't know you at all to they've signed up for your signature program is a simple way to understand it. And so how in the village and how I help wisdom, business owners get more clients, get more rivers of people is through really simply understanding the art of building a river. Yeah, what you could call it a funnel, people call it different things, but I love that the idea and the felt sense of it being a river. And that, again, there's so many different strategies, and we work with all sorts of different strategies with people with their wisdom businesses based on the industries that they're in, based on the social media platforms they use. So there's all sorts of different strategies you can use here. But the core is to create this flow from people who don't know you and can then easily have an experience with you that's very low risk and low cost. So that could be a post, it could be, an article you've written or an interview you've done, all sorts of ways to have that, what we call the enticing, then so yeah, I'll explain the system that we use very simply, which is entice, engage, empower. And entice is out there, low risk for them, get involved. Oh, yes, this person's got something to say, I like them. Then they take a step forward to engage, which is where they get more time with you to learn from you. So this session is in the engage part of the river for my work. And so that they get a deeper chance to experience you. And then empower is really the sales part, where you're learning to create a space where they can step into what they most want in their life. Because sales is not about buying you. It's not a popularity contest. Yeah, it's they are choosing something for themselves. So whatever, your choice to come here was because you want something. Yeah, you want to grow your wisdom business. I presume that's why you're here. Otherwise, it's very weird. So, that choice that you made was technically a sale, not necessarily a paid sale, but was a sale to spending some time with me, but you didn't make it for me. So learning how to create that empowerment is central to marketing. So entice, engage, empower. And basically then increase a marketing engine is increasing the amount of options for someone, people in the enticed part of your communication with the world. And that we do a lot of what we call OPAs, which is other people's audiences. So we support our people to get out and connect with leaders in their field, interconnected communities, so that they can, add more people to the entice, then to create the right juicy things in the engage section that then lead to the core work. So again, there's whole month-long programs on this and finding the right strategy for you. But that's enough on marketing. That's building rivers from people who don't know you to signing up for your deep work. So give yourself a score out of 10 for that. Someone's saying, Sarita, that this is quite different when it comes to referrals. In many ways, it's not, because those referrals are actually one of the streams, river streams. Yeah. So every person you work with who loves what you do, it basically becomes a river. Yeah. And so then they are doing the entice. Oh, I've got this person I know, or oh my God, I just had a session with this person. I feel so good. That's the entice. Yeah. And then they come in and can potentially come straight into booking, so it can speed up the process. Yeah, that makes sense. So 4, 5, 4, 5, 6, 3, 5. Great. You guys have got way more solid businesses than the group last night. I love it. Okay, so then I'll move on to the last two, and I'll do them slightly quicker because I want to get into coaching with you. Okay, so remember, right, have a look at the first 6 we've done and just what questions have I got here? What's blocking me here that I'd love to get some coaching on, because that's the juice. Okay, number 7 is your team. Yeah, now your team is the group of people that you have around who are helping you bring this value to the world. And that the goal here, the 10, is you're only doing what you're built to do. Yeah, most wisdom bringers, the core things they love to do is to create content and then to facilitate or deliver that content to the people. But most people in the wisdom industry, that's what they love to do. And the more you can build a team to help you do everything else, the better. Yeah, I'm incredibly privileged to have Sue. We have a team of VAs who really help me and help us take this work to the world in a way that really allows us to do what we're born to do, and Sue more and more is creating a role where she gets to absolutely do what she does, which is just to pour love into people until they go, oh my God, yes. Yeah. So that's how we build our team, is that we get each person into what they're absolutely best at. And then obviously at the beginning, it's doing it by ourselves. And so many people I come to, I think it's part of the rite of passage to be a wisdom leader, is there's a certain point where you have to go, I'm going to do this. No matter what, I'm going to do this by myself. I'm going to make this happen. I believe in myself. I'm going to do it. And that's a rite of passage to being a message bearer, to having something to share with the world, is you have to back yourself. But with that comes this burden of like being by yourself. That is just not true. In fact, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you believe that the community around you has more love and support for you than you're calling in or accessing? Just put your hands up if that's you. Yeah, if that you know that the work community around you loves and believes in you in ways that you're not allowing in to fully help your business thrive. Yep, great. Okay, lots and lots of hands going up, as I'd expect, and as I found working with people. So getting the team in place doesn't even mean getting paid staff straight away. It means developing mentors and buddy relationships. So we help people move up the scale from, getting training partners and finding mentors in your own community and life, through to, developing your first VA and getting them on board. If you haven't got one of them, please do talk to us. We've got VA in the village who helps people in the village community, as well as can be hired to do the work. But just, don't do it by yourself. There's so many people, and you get to support and provide for people's incomes for their families as well. So it's a wonderful thing. That's it. So we'll just leave that there. So score yourself out of 10 when where you're currently at with your team. 5, 3, 6, 5, 6, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 3. Okay, great. So if you've got round to this section already, and you haven't, this is under 5, this is your first under 5, then please get yourself a team. Don't do this by yourself. It's just more fun, as well as reach more people. 8, good to see you've got a great team, Henrietta. Darden's got 3. Okay, so number 8, automation. Now, we live in an incredible era of automation, where the amount of value that we can offer the world when we're not there is mind-boggling. I have a whole 3-month Warrior Apprenticeship program that is deep initiations and training over a 3-month period. There's courses and videos. It's an absolute life transformational program, and someone can go through that, and I'm not there at all. Utter life transformation, nothing from me at all anymore. And so also automation is incredible for your marketing engine and being able to communicate to wider groups of people. There's so many things available to us to be able to help us, increase the value that we're offering and decrease the time it takes, because that's what we explore here in automation, is very simply the ability to increase how much value that you're able to deliver on a daily basis to, the entice and the engage different elements that I talked about, and then decrease the time it takes to do that. And so if you get that right, then you can truly focus on creating that treasure, getting it out, delivering it to the people, and on it goes. I think that's enough about that one. Give yourself a score out of 10 for that. And chuck it in the chat. 3. Great, doing it by a bit of a lone wolf going there, Gary. Okay, some 3s. Oh, this is the lowest score so far. 5s. This is fun. I feel like I'm on a game show. 4. Okay. We got some 1, 3, 3. Okay, so there's definitely some tech work to do. Look, if I'll just mention this now, that we've got my son and I are setting up a business to help people set up their foundational tech, their course building, website building, all of those things. And we're just looking for a small group of people to help set up and build their tech. So if that's you, this wasn't meant to be about that. We'll be launching that soon. But, reach out to us about that. Okay, so you've got your whole map now. You've got your scores through, and I want you to just look at which one is the first one that was 5 or under. So just look at that list and just chuck that in the chat. I'm interested to see which of all of these that we've done was, the first one at 5, and the sales, state, great. So, and then I want you to look at, it might be the same one, it might be not. What question do you have? I'm just going to give you for a minute to look at them and look at what question do you have about your business? Because the whole rest, nearly an hour we've got, is me diving into your world. Lots around sales here. So I'll definitely be doing some stuff with sales with you. And what I'm hoping is that, well, I know it, is that as I work with one person, it's not just about them, obviously. Yeah. So that by you bringing your real world challenge and me working with you on it, hopefully everyone who's got that challenge or some version of it will get coaching for them. So even though I'm coaching one-on-one, very much it's just a different way to share information as opposed to me just talking from up here. Sales and marketing with the lowest scores. Great. Yep. That's a lot of people I work with are there. You know, it's time to really come above ground and grow the presence in the world and do that in a way that's authentic. So once you've found your question, I want you to chuck it in the chat. Yeah, and I'll just choose from those questions who we're going to go with first, and then we'll work hopefully with all of you at least for a minute or two. You know. Okay, great. So I'm going to start with Louise while the rest of you are putting your questions in. So, oh yeah. Anyway, I'll come back to the other ones. So Louise's question is my newly planned niche enough or the right niche? So Louise, do you want to come off mute and just tell us about that? Yeah, so just tell us what your business is, just in 30 seconds, what your niche is, and I'll hopefully help you answer that question. You're on mute in case you're trying to talk. You also disappeared in the forest. Hey, Louise. So just working with your question, I think you went to the toilet at that exact second.
I did. Oh, sorry.
Timing.
Timing.
Real world stuff. I love it. So I've just got your question there. There's not two Louises, is there? You are the Louise that asked that question. You must
I am the Louise, yes.
Ran off to the toilet straight after you dropped in the chat. I like it. So just tell us 30 seconds, what is your business and what is your newly planned niche?
So my business is developmental coaching, and I also run Enneagram retreats and Circle of Courage events.
Yeah.
So my newly planned niche is to focus on business leaders, so that's executives and corporates that are doing really well in their business, but in terms of their personal life and how they're going with their relationships, their relationship with self, it's lacking. So they're sort of outwardly successful, but inwardly not.
Yep. Great. So first good questions when you're exploring a niche is, have I been there? Yeah. That doesn't always. There's some people who are serving niches who aren't there. But in terms of getting trust and reliability with your niche, if you're like, I was there, and they can go, that's exactly where I was, then that's the first question. So do you feel like you've been there, that what you're sharing?
I think I'd say when I was in my corporate years, yes, I was like, getting promoted, doing really well, but having lots of health issues and had no relationship with myself. So yes, but probably as an entrepreneur, that probably hasn't been the case for me. It's probably been the other way around. I'm thriving and my business is doing well, but not flying like I'd like it to be.
But you have lived experience of being in the corporate, basically being the avatar that you're listening to. Yeah, this is it speeds up the ability to communicate clearly to them.
Yes,
But if you can say this is where I was, and they go, that's me, it's just easier. Great. So that's the first. Second one is, are they clear enough? Yeah. So obviously, executive, sort of leaders within the corporate sphere is still pretty broad. You can probably niche that down more clearly, but definitely, and that will potentially be around that, what I was saying, the psychographic of what is their deepest pain. Yeah. So you could potentially niche in more around just around the family or around whatever it is the key things you're wanting to work with.
Can I just ask you, because this part of the problem with this niche is that I'm not speaking to just I work with lots of entrepreneurs. So I work with lots of entrepreneurs and lots of execs. So I'm trying to find a niche that covers both of those. So as you're speaking, I'm like, I don't want to just niche into corporate. So that is my niche of trying to speak to entrepreneurs and corporates. Is that already too broad?
Yeah, look, it's a really great question. And in general, the more niched you are, the better. Especially in the modern world, because you can communicate to so many people. You've got access. So you could choose both of them. But the way people normally bring them together is they call it leadership. Yeah. So leadership is the niche where you're working with entrepreneurs and you're working with corporates. Would be the sort of the term that people would use. to meet them.
Yeah.
And then you would find a specific brand of leadership that brings your magic forward. Yeah. So whatever unique magic is,
Yeah.
you would bring that into it, and it could be holistic leaders, or it could be, integrated leaders, or it could be something that is a brand that really is something that you feel really qualified on, and that you feel like there's a group of people there that are willing to pay for it. Yeah.
It's funny because it's almost the opposite of the holistic leader. It's the leader that's, really involved in the material world and flying in terms of all of that, but they're lacking the other stuff. But how to speak to it, unconscious successful leaders, for example, it's not that, but.
Well, I think that the one of the key things, and again, we could go down the whole rabbit hole with this, is that they have to have a problem that they're hurting with. Yeah. And that's where we connect. So that when we're developing our treasure, we talk a lot about problem and promise, which is where there's different terms for it in different marketing traditions, but basically it's like, where am I hurting? Yeah. And what do I most desire? So what you want to understand is, what is the problem? Because if they're leading that way and causing that distress, but they're still blaming their partner, or they're still, whatever, they're not going to seek you out. Even though maybe you've got something that will help them, they're not going to come to you. So it's really understanding what is the problem that's have them going to go, oh, I've had enough of this, and then step in. Yeah. So so you've got a niche there. There's no doubt you've got a niche there. They've got money. So I don't think the issue isn't the niche. The issue is, how do I create the right treasure? Yeah. For them, that's specifically targeted to them, that has them go, yes, I've got that problem, I want to go and do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
Right. So get really clear on that problem, get out and talk to some people. That treasure section, it's the last bit before going above ground, but we do a lot of market testing with people there. A lot of people are taking their work to the world too quickly without taking it to a bunch of people who are in the industry and saying, hey, I've got this, program I'm wanting to share. What do you think? Does this resonate? And they might go, oh no, I would never speak that way. Try this language. And just one tweak of language can be a complete transformation in the program. So that's find the problem that they're suffering with, and that's where your challenge will be. Not I think the niche is fine.
And it's finding the problem and speaking to it in language that they get, because my coaching explanation of it might not resonate for them. So, yeah.
Yep, totally. And in a way that, remember, they've got to be hurting from the problem. Yeah, people will pay where they're hurting and where they're dreaming. Yeah, so you've got to be able to talk to one or both of them. If you're just looking, going, I know there's all these people out who are suffering, but they're just soldiering through, they're not going to be looking for your material. So you need to know, what is it that's keeping them up at night? Yeah, what is it that's helping them, and find that, and then get out there and get into those communities of, alpha leaders, or whatever you want to call them, and then talk to this issue of, unbalanced leadership, or, whatever terms you'll create, that leadership at a cost,
Yeah. Cool. Thank you.
Okay, great. That you're happy to go with that. That gives you some new material.
Yeah.
Great. It's finding the right problem. Again, I get a bit mad professory with this, but finding the right problem is an integral part of creating intimacy. Yeah, because when you've got a good friend and you sit down and you're talking, la la la, what's going on, and then maybe something happens and you're ready to sit down and go, so what's really going on? And they share, actually, I'm fighting with my partner, or my kids are annoying me, or I just feel exhausted, or whatever. And they really share where they're suffering or struggling in their life. And if you're there with them in that moment and you really go, I hear you, there's an incredible intimacy that's created. Yeah, we all know that. Just put your hands, the intimacy that's there when someone hears your pain. Well, wisdom business is exactly the same. Our job is to really understand the pain of the people we're here to serve, and be anchored in that. And that's part of the reason we suffer ourselves, is to be able to have that, be able to go, yes, I either was there or I am there right now. I understand that. I feel that. And that creates the intimacy and builds the trust that then allows you to talk about the promise or the dream that they want. And if in your communications with them, that person feels like, oh, they've got my pain, they know where I'm at, and oh my God, they've got the skills to take me to where I want to go. They're very close to buying. Yeah, because if you hit those 2 points, And then the third one is your expertise, what we call your pathway, which is your ability to show that you have the skills to take them from that problem to that promise. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then now you've established credibility, and they'll step in to either buy with you, or at the very least come and do a deeper free thing with you, or whatever it is. Make sense?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that valuable to all of you in terms of creating your content? Just putting your hands up. Yeah, great. Oh, there's a little dude on the screen. Hello, little dude.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Little dude's always welcome. Okay. Who's next? Actually, I've got chats, haven't I? So let me just randomly pull another one. Okay, Amanda. How do I overcome reticence to feel like I am the product as opposed to my service? Personality sales has me having an allergic reaction. Who else has an allergic reaction to personality sales? Yeah. Some people. Great. So I'll assume, Amanda, just jump off mute and I'll just ask you a few questions about that to clarify. Yeah.
Sure.
Great. Put your video on if you can. Totally fine if you can't, but love to see your face. So the personality, there you are. Yeah. So what you're talking about in personality sales is about you being a larger of life figure, you being sort of like an Instagram personality and having to sort of sell yourself. Is that what you mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Great. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to put a bikini on and go on a yacht and take photographs of yourself and tell people how awesome you do. That is not required. But what is required is the ability to communicate your magic and your value to them in a way that lands for them. Yeah. So that doesn't have to be showy. It doesn't have to be pretensy, but it means being able to speak up for the value of what you offer. Yeah. So it doesn't need to be about you. Yeah. You don't need to say, look how amazing I am. Now come and do my thing. You don't need to do that. But what you do need to be able to do is be able to be, have claimed your value. Yeah. Of what it is, why it is what you do is unique, and communicate that in a way that has them really see the value for themselves. And so that does mean putting your energy or your personality into what you do, but it doesn't mean you need to package yourself up. Does that make sense? And just ask me questions about that and let's see if we can help.
It does make sense, but I think the other part of it is like coming out, isn't it? It's like,
yes.
It's like using social media. It's like using those things and coming out and declaring that stuff. And I guess part of that is your audience is people you know as well. And I suppose that's part of the reticence of coming out in a way is like I might use people who are already Facebook friends, for example, and it's like coming out there as well. And so I think there's a part of that as well that I feel a bit of reticence to, because I guess the other part of that is about sincerity. So, people friending. I've had experience where people friend you all the time and then it's like to sell you something, to do something, to whatever. And I don't want to be that person either.
No,
it's like, why are you friending me, or why, and then all of a sudden your feed's clogged up with them, with these photos of them, in all these spots and whatever. And so I guess it's the caricature stuff and the lack of sincerity around, trying to get stuff happening.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Can I challenge you on this?
Yeah, of course.
So I would suggest there's two things collapsed in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I want to separate them. One is being an inauthentic fuckwit, and one is being fully expressed. Yeah. And they're almost collapsed in, and so you go, I don't want to be that. So then you don't have to actually confront that. There's a breakthrough, and you're claiming your own value and your own expression here. Yeah. Now that doesn't mean you have to be anybody. You get to create yourself exactly how you want to be. You get to do business how you want to do it. But if your voice is a bit closed and you're not communicating your value to the world, people can't find you.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to look at those people who are sending you those DMs and, on Instagram going, come and look at my life. It's so amazing, and you might even know that they're full of shit, or you just suspect they are. And maybe they are, maybe they're not, who knows? But so we unconsciously use that as an excuse to not confront, oh, I'm not claiming my value here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So you don't want to conflate the two.
Yes, we've got to separate them, because
Yeah.
what's your core message? If you just put it in a sentence, what's your message to bring to the world?
I find it hard to articulate it,
Yep.
but it's something about creating possibility and transformation in any given moment, because that's where the magic is, in the present.
Okay, beautiful.
It's like leaving behind the anxiety of the future and whatever's attached to the past, and knowing that in any given moment you can be whoever you want to be.
Love it, love it. Very well for someone who's like, oh, I don't know if I can. So I just want you to stand up and just take a breath. Yeah, just activate your body a bit.
No, when I said that, I could feel all of the tingles like in my body.
Totally
activated.
We're going to go more into that now. So I want you to imagine is all your community, Facebook friends, community, all those people. Yep, they're standing in front of you here. Yep. And it's time to come out. Yeah, for yourself. You can choose to actually do it or not, but it's time to come out. And for the rest of you can also do this as well. Just breathe in that message that you just spoke about, that the miracle of the possibilities of this moment. Just breathe that into your body. And just bring that alive in yourself. Yeah, just breathe, move, and sound it through your system. This is what we do a lot of work in to help shift our state and activate our magic, is we learn to shift our physiology. So just breathe with that message that you just spoke about, the miracle of this moment, out of the past, out of the future. And breathe this alive into your body, into your belly, into your heart, and just say yes to it. Yeah, use Gary's yes medicine to just activate this and feel how important this message is to you. Yeah, feel how alive it is to you. Let it come alive in the body. Yeah, because if I'm feeling you correctly, this is your life's work. Yeah, this is what you're built to do. Am I right?
Yes.
Great. So feel that. Let yourself feel how much this matters. And here's the ugly bit. I said I was going to challenge you. This is the bit I'm going to challenge you in, is that there's people out there. Just keep breathing it through the body. You can stand or sit, whatever feels good. But I want you to still feel those people in front of you, because we're going to do a little exercise now. The rest of you can do this with Amanda as well if you want. So your people are in front of you. You're breathing, feeling your magic. It's alive. And there's people out there in that community whose lives will be transformed if you communicate this magic. Yeah, can you feel that? Yeah. So you holding back, yeah, is denying them of that experience. Yeah. Now maybe some people go, look at you, you're weird. They're probably doing it anyway. Like, yeah, they'll go, oh no, she's one of those people. I don't want to be one of them. But other people's lives will be transformed. Yeah, I've had men come up to me, and women. Have any women said this? I think they have, yeah. And said to me, I would not be alive anymore if it wasn't for you. Yeah, the work that I've done with you, I literally have saved my life. I've raised my kids better. Like, I get to hear that all the time. But the other ugly truth to that is, if I'm only sharing my message at a 5 to 10, how many people are actually killing themselves because I'm holding back? Yeah, because I'm worried about what someone thinks. Yeah, who I probably don't even know anyway, and probably they actually gonna love me anyway. The overall response usually is either disinterest or love, with occasional like whatevers. So I just want you to feel that magic in you, and I just want you to imagine now. You can speak it out loud if you feel courageous enough to do it, but I'm fine if you just do it in your own imagination. But just for a minute, I want you to share your core message with this community and really open up your voice and imagine you're sharing it as clearly and boldly as you can. Yeah. Really feel what it feels like to stand in front of them and declare, this is what I stand for. This is who I am. And see if you can give it more expression. So it's like your whole body is communicating your message, not just words. And just for another 30 seconds, just give yourself even more permission to be more bold, more clear. Go on. You can do it, say it out loud if you want to or not, but just speak to them, your core, what we call your message to the world, like your 1 minute. If you only had 1 minute with these people, you got one thing to say, speak it. So it comes alive in your body.
As in, when you say speak it, I'm just not sure how you want me to frame it.
I don't care. I don't
care.
This is your message to the world. This is exactly the point, yeah? That you see how unconsciously you give the power to me to believe I'm the one who's deciding what you should say.
Yeah.
Fuck that. Yeah, you've got a message that only you can share.
Yeah.
Every person on this call has a message that will mean people won't fucking die if you share it. Yeah, and I'd maybe physically die, but also emotionally, mentally, spiritually die if you don't share it. Yeah, and if you share it, they could come alive. Sue does incredible work with women. She brings dead women alive again. She's like a Jesus. Yeah, the way she works with them is just, I see the testimonial. It's like, before I was dead, I'm alive. And that's worth offending a few people. Yeah, that's worth upsetting a few people. That's
I upset people.
Right. Good. I'm not saying deliberately. That's a different thing. But the point is that this message you have about the power of being in the moment, make an incredible impact. Can you feel that?
Oh yeah, it has.
Yeah, it has already. Great.
Yeah.
I love it. So what did you notice? Were you able to feel yourself sharing that to that community, or do you need some more time to do that?
I notice resistance. Yeah. I'll just do it.
You gonna do it right now, you're saying? Or you just...
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Go for it.
So I stand for the power and possibility that you can be whoever you want to be in any given moment. That the past doesn't matter, that the future is an idea, but in this moment, you can be joyful, you can live your power, you can choose whatever you want.
Yes, yes. Feel, how are they responding? This imaginary community of people, how are they responding to that?
I guess some are resonating.
Yep. Right, so breathe them in. So I'm going to move on to someone else because I want to give lots of, but can you feel that if you just did that, if I was coaching you now, if we were doing 3 months coaching, I wouldn't bother about doing anything externally straight away. I would just get you in that living current of your magic. I would train you to release this voice, activate this so it's a living current, and then I would just watch you go out and ravish the world with your... So
I think the state for me is important because there's massive energy, but it's like how to get that energy focused somewhere. That's the foundation of it all. And that I can talk to people like in my life and mesmerize them around it, but it's how to focus that in to the work, if you know what I mean.
And I would suggest, again, without opening the whole coaching, it's to do with your voice. That you're in the state, we work with 3 centers, which is your love, your heart, which is the sort of the core truth, your magic. Then we work with the belly, which is your primal vital life force. And then we work with your voice, which is your expression and your intent and your sword. And so I want to encourage you, come and do it with us if you want in the village, or is train this voice to be as resonant as the message is in your heart. Does that make sense? To activate the full life force of your message so it's pulsing through your primal center of your belly and through your voice. And then literally that will be a current of life that will energize your whole business. Make sense? Beautiful. Beautiful. Yay. Did that helpful to other people? You get just how powerful that the living state and especially your expression is. And also the really interesting piece there was when that is repressed, then we will believe that our expression is we have to be someone other than what we are. I have to be this false person. I have to sell. We don't have to do that. We just get to be the living current of ourselves. yeah, and express that. So thank you for being bold and going that, and just keep breathing that through for the rest of the session. Expressing that. Yeah, I've literally watched people radically increase their business just by doing voice work, just by activating their expression, because expression is the state behind marketing. Yep. So if your expression is locked, your marketing will be locked. If your expression opens up, your marketing opens up, because you get to create it, as your message said, how you want it to be, rather than some imposed sort of false fake idea. You get to be yourself. Yeah. And that will find you the perfect people. And yes, you bring strategy in, but it doesn't have to be false or manipulative. Beautiful. Okay, let's
Thanks,
find.
Marion.
Okay, so Rebecca, how to communicate what I do effectively. Well, I've covered some of that, yeah, that just in that sense of being able to touch your state, activate that, and then get your magic flowing through you, and then learning to express is central to getting it flowing. And then also if you know your people. But then the next part of the question was how to choose a group program and how to grow high ticket one-on-one clients. So a lot of questions in there. Let's go with them. Just clarify a little bit more about how to choose a group program. Tell me what you mean by that question.
Okay, well, I'm not sure. So my work is I take people on altered state journeys, and I then do coaching based on, like, I channel as well. So I coach on based on what comes through. And so it's really bespoke. And I love doing one-on-one. I used to hold space, like do healing work, and I've kind of shifted it into a coaching mode. And I find the one-on-one really fulfilling. But I'm looking at some group programs, and I'm just not sure, like, I guess, yeah, where to go with that exactly, because you kind of have to have a theme, and then I like, and like, yeah, outcomes and this kind of stuff. Whereas when I'm in the one-on-one programs or one-on-one coaching, it's really based on what the person is experiencing, what comes through as well. So yeah, I just find it difficult to kind of, I've got like 3 or 4 potentials, and I just haven't implemented any of it. I'm not really sure like what the best thing to do is. And do people want like certification kind of stuff, or is it better to take them on a journey? I also struggle with the, like, where does this, what problems does this solve? Because everybody's going through different things, but I do a lot of energy healing and stuff like that. So it's really, I struggle with the message as well.
So that what you do with people is amazing. When you sit there and you open, something comes through and magic happens, but the ability to package it up and communicate it just feels something like you don't know how to do that yet.
Yeah, basically.
And you also don't want to do that in a way that's inauthentic, because the whole point of the living current of your message is not being boxed in and contained. It's about freeing things up and unique to the individual rather than some formulaic approach.
Exactly. So for one client, we might drop into like an Akashic Records reading, and then another client maybe channeling their loved ones, another one going into the quantum field, and I never know what it's going to be until we're in it. And with the groups, usually like people would have some resonance, and so they will all get something from it. But yeah, I'm just kind of really struggling to box everyone in.
Totally. So I'm going to give you a short answer to this because it's a really juicy, long question. And basically, my whole body of work is designed to answer that question. Yeah. Like someone came to me years ago and said, I love the way you coach. This was a very professional, highly paid business coach who'd come and got coaching from me and had breakthroughs in a single session with me that he'd never had with anyone else ever. And so after then training with me for 3 months, he came to me and said, I want to learn to coach how you coach. And I was like, you just tune in and you empty and you twist. You can't teach it. And then he said, because he was a very strong mental person, oh, well, can I ask you more questions? And so he began to ask me questions. And after a while, he said, here's what I'm going to do. I am going to keep asking you questions, and we are going to create a coaching program together. And we did, because he was a mental genius, and I had the gift of doing what I did, which was to tune in. And so through the conversations, we actually allowed a framework that stayed true to the message of what we were bringing forward. But also developed a framework, because a framework it's like having a body, that when you incarnate into a body, you can do more things than if you don't have a body. If that makes sense. The more robust and alive your body is, then the more you can do with that body. So learning to build, mature your body of work so that it has a body, so that it can be seen by more people and is part of what it is to build a more mature body of work. So the first thing I want to say to you is, you can do that and be absolutely true to the message. That's the first thing I want to say, is that the idea that you have to, like you use the word, box yourself up. Yeah, because as soon as you say, I've got to box myself up, then naturally you'll go, that I'm not interested. Yeah, but what you're doing is you're giving your work a body so that it can hold more energy and transmit to more people, and more people can engage with it. Yeah. And so then the first step to take, and again, if we had longer, I could go deeper in this, but is to basically look at the people you've had the greatest results with. So write down a bunch of clients and pick the 5 or 10 that you've worked most with. And just have a look at them and almost write about each one. What was the breakthrough? What happened? And you'll find that there's themes there. There's themes to your work, and that's where you build your programs and courses around. Yeah, because they're already there. But you don't have to package it up, and in every session we're going to have this breakthrough. It can be, look, I help you with resonance. Yeah, I help you connect more deeply. You'll find your language, but it's already there. But the challenge is that for a lot of people, I work with a lot of people who are a lot of what I call high vibrational beings, or they've got a lot of love and a lot of spirit to bring forward. And that often means that there's a certain resistance to the more earthly, the more physical elements of things. And that means clarifying, packaging our products can feel like, it's a trap. So what we have to learn to do is to say, I'm absolutely committed to bringing this, giving this, my work, a body, and I'm going to do it absolutely true to the message. That's the commitment you make. And then basically you work with people, like I got to work with people to help you do that. Yeah. So check out the Village if you're interested in the community to help you flesh out and bring those programs together, because it's the treasure bit that I was talking about. Yeah, it's really being able to help you. It feels like what you're saying is, your magic. Yeah, the hearts of your people, but you work in such a translucent space that the idea of putting package together that's solid, you haven't found that yet, but you can and you will, and it can be absolutely true to your essence, and it can be absolutely valuable to more people than you can currently reach because of that being in the hermit in the cave. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is one challenge I have with coaching, is like, I want to go deep with each one of you, but I'll do some shorter coachings now and just offer at least something to some of what you've said. You've also all written me essays for your questions, which is great. But the problem is you then have to watch me read them, which I don't really want to spend the time, you staring at me reading your things, but I'll try anyway. So Sarita has said, ended up burnt out, overwhelmed, making mistakes for my clients due to trying to please everyone and be everything for everybody. Okay, put your hands up if you recognize that. Who's done that in some way, shape, or form? Yep. Now I am transitioning towards being a therapist that people need me, not just any occupational therapist. So it could be a broad range of clients, but I need to get clear on my magic treasure and then get clear on the people and how to communicate that. I feel like it's still early days for me. It probably comes back to state, being burnt out and overwhelmed. Yeah, great. Thank you. I hear you. So I get quite a few people coming to me this way. Practitioners have been doing their work for years, are quite good at what they do, but there's a level of having to be someone other than what they are in the work and pleasing others. And so I resonate with what you're saying without knowing your exact situation, of course. And so what I would suggest, it's very much state and magic. Yeah. So coming back to them, I would, if we were doing a coaching session now, and I can send you this if you want, we'd do a ceremony. Yeah. Around going out and really shedding the layers of all the other past selves you've been, and coming back to really that state, remembering who you are, and then that magic. Because as I read that, and I know you from years ago, but haven't seen you at all lately, I think there's an exquisite, you tell me if this is true for you, an exquisite transmission that you're here to bring forward to the planet. Yeah, I think it's true for all of us, really. It's not the no-brainer that I'd say it, but I know you enough to feel that. And my guess is that's where your work is to really receive your magic for yourself. Yeah, to be able to really recognize what is my unique frequency, that magic we're talking about, and then how can I get drunk on it? Yeah, how can I fill it up? Because when we really do that, it cleanses us of the past, or this whole story of burnout. Because basically, burnout is giving without our magic being activated. Yeah, so we're giving more from responsibility, from roles, giving over the top of depletion, all those things. If our magic is fully alive, then we give not because we're trying to get something or because we have to, but because it's the natural process of overflowing magic is to give it. So to just really give yourself permission to go and be initiated more deeply into your magic, and we can send you through some stuff to help you do that if you want. And my sense is you probably can move through those other stages and start creating some treasure quite quickly. Yeah, that it doesn't necessarily need to be, oh, I need to recuperate for this long, because your magic has this incredible healing quality to it. And then it'll help you, know your people, and then build some treasure that you really like, oh, I want to share this rather than I should. Yeah. And you get that done. And then you'll move into the world with a completely different relationship with being in the world and being of service than the one that's a bit like, oh, I'm drained. I also know you're a mother, so that you're, giving as a parent and then giving as a thing, it can all mean that our receiving is out, which is again why I do a lot of below ground work with people before we go above ground. So is that helpful? Any questions you want to ask about that?
Absolutely. Goosebumps when you said something about fully receiving the magic, my own magic, yeah. and doing an initiation or a ritual to take off the veils, the layers, the masks, the roles, all the different ways that I have given from a state of feeling like I should, or depletion, or over the top of depletion, as you said. That's a really good visual for me. Yeah, so I just got that goosebumps of like just really come back to that, and I think that's the essence. And my question was quite long, but at the end I kind of like got my own answer. It's about my state, and it's about really choosing to value that. And then I think that perhaps the sticky points maybe around the sales, like communicating the value of that.
Mm.
But well, I'm not going there until I receive. Yeah, I get it. Thank you so much.
And not just your state, but your magic. Yeah, really receive that unique frequency that you're here to bring forward. Yeah.
Yes, that's a nice nuance, isn't it? Because state's one thing, and I do state work all the time.
Yeah.
The magic is a little bit different. I like that. I'm going to play with that.
Yeah, and it really is. It's also what will set you into work again. It's like it will lead you as you fill up with that magic, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm here to transmit this aloha from every cell. It's like you won't ever have to work again. Yeah, there won't ever have to be like, okay, now I need to package my products, and it's just be like, oh my god, I'm riding this dragon of aloha, and oh my god, I want to create this thing for people, and I want to do, and literally you can work for the next 30 years in a current of passion if you embody that magic and follow it through. That's what we do. And I just had a guy recently. This is a guy in his 60s. He's an experienced relationship counselor. Been doing work for years with people, but really lost his passion for it. And he was just saying the other day, he's been in the village for only 6 weeks or something then. And it's like, he was saying, oh, I feel so juicy around my work. And then he looked right into the camera and said to all of us, I even love marketing now. Like, it's like this whole sense that when we're really in touch with the current of who we are, this thing called sales and marketing and promotion, it disappears. It just becomes the sharing of that which we're born to do. And then we find a way to do it that's true for us. And of course, it's still vulnerable at times. And of course, we still go, oh, do I have to do this or whatever? That's part of the human condition. But the primary driver is the current of our own love and magic. So, yeah, it's beautiful. Love it. Let us know how you go.
Thank you.
That is something that in the village, we've got an offer, which I'll tell you about in the village in a minute. But we've got an offer that over the Christmas period where you get 2 months for the price of one, specifically so for people like you who like, okay, I want to actually go deep and not rush to get something to market, but I want to use the December, January time to really get my below ground stuff right, is why we're offering that, for exactly that reason, to give you some good underground time work. Yeah, I love it. Okay. So Good Egg, I have an established practice in a new location that is stalled and really not sure why. I feel like I'm starting to sink. Okay. I think that's pretty clear. Do you want to add anything to that? Oh, you're still, it says you're unmuted, but I still can't hear you. No, still can't hear you. You're gonna have to do it through interpretive dance. Okay, well, unless you sort that out, I'll just speak to what, and you'll have to give me hand gestures if it's resonating. Yeah. Okay, great. I understood that to be okay. So I work with a lot of people who've either moved practice or starting their first practice, and it's a juicy time. Hey, so I'm thinking you're saying you've had another practice that was going well, but you've moved to a new practice and it's not going so well. Yep, great. So obviously there's a whole lot of stuff there to work on. But basically, the simple answer is you look through the wheel that I've just put you through, and you look, check in, how is my state? Yeah. When I feel this practice, when I'm in this practice, what's happening to my state? And then do the work there. If the state is alive, then it's like, okay, what is my magic? Is my magic alive here? Yes, it is. Great. Okay. Then do I know my people? Have my people changed? Do I know them here in this new location? Yeah. So you basically can use that as a whole assessment tool to find out what's going on. Does that make sense? So that you'll really uncover what it is as you go through them. Maybe you've already got some of that insight. You'll uncover this is where it's really, yeah, my state's gone out. I'm actually depleted and I'm a bit over it. I don't really want to do it anymore. Yeah, that's my guess. Just hearing you talk, there's a bit of you's over it. Yeah, and that doesn't have to stay that way. It doesn't mean you need to quit. It means that you need to get in touch with your magic again. Yeah, you need to awaken that. And potentially, I'll give you one more story why this is so powerful. So I was working with a Chinese medicine practitioner. She'd been doing 20 years. She had 20 clients a week and came to me initially to transition out of being a Chinese medicine practitioner because she was over it. And so we got into why was she over it, and that she was sick of just people being sick, she getting some treatments, they go away, they get better again, they come back to her when they're sick. She said, I just feel like I'm resolving people's issues all the time. We're not working more deeply. And so she wanted to become a coach or something like that. But after talking a bit, what we found her love was full vitality, full health. That was her magic, was full health from, helping heal sickness, but also through to full vital health. So then we got her to create a signature program that was about full vital health. Yeah. And she got really inspired about it. And she basically created, it was like a package program, 3 months, certain amount of sessions, some homework and stuff where people really looked at what was their optimal health and how could they get there. And then she started pitching that. She already had the clients, so she didn't have to do too much marketing. She just shared it with the people who came through. And within 2 months of us designing that, I remember her being in tears going, my whole practice has transformed. I'm doing my life's work with 60 to 70% of my clients are on optimal health programs now. They're loving it. I'm earning more money because it's a package program that I'm booked out because I've got all these people coming back now that, they're going beyond being sick, and I'm talking about what I most love, and so she's still in the same clinic, but she's found a way to bring her magic forward that worked better for everyone. Yeah. So that's my suggestion, is to just have a look through those ones and find which ones are missing. And again, we can reach out to me and we can, there's a longer answer to that, but that's it. That's the short answer. So what I'll do now is I'll share about the village, because we're coming up to time, and I want to share a bit about it, because that's why I can do these free sessions, obviously, is that some of you will be like, oh my God, I want to go deeper with this material, this work. And so I'll share about it for a few minutes, but then I'll also stay around for anyone who hasn't got coaching, who wants it. I'll stay around after the 2 hours and help answer your questions and give me a chance to read through the rest of the ones that I haven't read through. And so my apologies if I haven't got to you. But Okay, so the village. So this is an incredible program. Yeah, the term village basically comes from, that saying it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we believe it takes a village to raise a business, certainly an embodied business. Yeah, so rather than being a lone wolf, it's about bringing a community of people together who want to apply the right strategy and the right state to their business. So we bring those three, what we call the three fires, together, and this is how we help you accelerate your business, is that we get the right support moving through you. We get activating your state really powerfully, and then we get the right now strategy. We've got heaps of material in all of those 8 categories and heaps more to help you go, this is what I need to focus on now. Yeah. So the strategy is, I think, the biggest reason people struggle in business is they've got so many different ideas about what to do. It can be overwhelming. So it's like each week we meet on a Monday. We have you can bring up the next slide, Sue. We have a strategy and coaching call where we get really clear on what's the right thing for you to do each week, what we call the weekly focus session and the weekly group coaching. And so we get really clear on how are you going to grow your business this week? What's the right action to take? Are you, like I was just doing with Dan, for Sarita, it would be more like, okay, well, you're going to go and do that ceremony. You're going to really connect to your magic. And then someone else, it's like, okay, we're going to really get out there and do some product testing. Someone else, it might be, okay, it's time to, get 10 new clients this week. So depending on where you are, you get focused on that. You get coaching to help you get focused. And then you get the epic training. We've got a whole, certificate in embodied business coaching that you get to pick which bits you want from to help you grow and build momentum in your business then. And then through the week, we have a weekly embodiment session. We have skills trainings on, Facebook marketing, on Instagram, how to set up an Instagram account, how to write good copy, how to create momentum in your business, how to organize yourself, just all from really practical stuff to the, state and mystic stuff. And basically you just get to choose whichever ones that you want each time. And then there's the portal, which has just got epic amount of material. But the most amazing thing about the portal is that you're not having to go through it all. You are basically finding your focus for the week with our help to help you focus. And then we're going, this is the thing to do now. This is the program to do now. Yeah. So when we were talking about voice before, we have a whole program with Amanda. We have a whole program called Words. Oh, it's in the bonus section, actually. Move to the next tile. That's a good segue. One of the bonus programs is called Words of Power, which is a 5-week program to initiate and awaken your voice. And so we've got, I think, 3 people in the village who are currently going through that program because it's worked out, for me to develop my marketing skill is to increase the power of my word. So we're working with people on a state level and a strategy level each week to build this acceleration and momentum in the business. It's an ongoing program. It's what we call an accelerator, which means you stay in it as long as you want. It's 3 months minimum because we want to get the below ground stuff solid, and then we want to get you out into the world making the impact you're here to make. You can move on to whatever's the next one, Sue. It really is, there's an incredible amount of value being put into this program because we've run a program like this before, but this one's only a few months old, which means Sue and I are putting way more amount of energy to build the culture and the community in it. So people are getting incredible amount of support. They're also, here's the value, they're getting one-on-one coaching session with me and a one-on-one coaching session with Sue, which is, I charge $490 for my coaching sessions. Sue charges, I think, $200, or $150 or something. So that's $700 worth of value just in the one-on-one coachings. And I won't do the whole, how much value everything is and stack it all up. This is $10 million worth of value. Come and do it for now. But there is epic amount of value. In fact, one of the guys just wrote us a testimonial the other day and said the value in this is just epic. So it's $690 a month. And there's a December, chuck that one in. We've also got a VA, which is a virtual assistant who works in us, and you get half an hour from her each month. And she does graphic design. She works with all sorts of WordPress and Kajabi and all sorts of different things. Plus, you can hire her within our community to do work without needing to go through the whole hassle of hiring a VA. she's people are loving her, and yeah, she's ridiculously skilled across so many things. We've been working with her for 4 or 5 years now. Mish is our hero. And so then there's the December offer. Yeah, the December offer is basically the next intake for the program starts the 1st of December, and you get 2 months for the price of one. So $690, and that's your first 2 months covered. And we can work on the below ground stuff for December, some of January or whatever, and then hopefully get you really ready to, you know, launch whenever you're ready in January or February, and you've got the underground structures really solid. So that's it. That's the village. It's one of the most potent programs we've ever created. It is the most potent program we've ever created for accelerated business growth. The results people are getting are epic. You know, we just had one. I'll just try and share some of the results so that it's clear that this stuff works. So we just had someone who's released their program and just had over 20 people interested within a few days, which is more than she's ever had before. We've had the guy I was talking about before, who's gone from 3 clients a week to 13 clients a week in 7 weeks. Another one applied one strategy that we used, and she got 4 new clients and a sign up for her signature program in just applying one strategy in 1 week. Yeah, which was, again, unheard results of for her. So we're getting really clear results, as well as we're doing incredible state work where people are falling more deeply in love with their business. And, you know, the key point to the village for me, you can take that down now, Sue. Thank you. Is that most of us have spent years, if not decades, mastering the art of what we do. And yet we haven't spent the same amount of time mastering the art of business. And so what we offer here is a community where you can both grow your business and grow your business skills in an authentic and embodied way that means it's really true for you. So if you're interested, then you just reach out. You simply say interested, and then you can, we'll reach out and we'll have a chat. And then if it feels good, we can book in a call and have a call and see if it's a right fit both ways. Yeah, we only take people that we're really sure we can help you. And yeah, so just drop interested below in the chat and we can reach out, or just reach out to me or Sue individually, and we will, you know, continue the conversation. And there's a few people saying they've got questions. Well, after we stop the video in a second, I'm available for questions and coaching about anything. So I think that's about all I've got to say about that. Anything, Sue, you want to say about the village? Because Sue is the you know, the mama at the heart of the village.
Just that I'm, you know, I'm loving that community, and I'm just, you know, I'm in my happy zone, being able to deeply support these people with their businesses, with their state, with community, with building, like I'm a big one for building community, and really sort of having us all kind of, you know, band together as a village. Hence the name, and really feel like we're weaving magic together, as well as individually, and that feels really beautiful. So yeah.
Okay, well, let's stop the recording. Thank you all. And then, yeah, I'm still here. So take questions about the village first, because a few people have said about that. And then anyone who wants coaching from their questions, will do that as well.